right after. Camera's on.
We're live.
All right, well, welcome today to the July 13th business meeting. Administrator, please take the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. We have Mr. Chris Storey representing County Counsel today, and then to my left, Mary Rathke serving as your clerk to the board. Commissioner Hubbardston. Here. Commissioner Fisher. Here. Commissioner Schrader. Here. Commissioner Sabbath.
Here.
Chair Bernard.
Here. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, we have citizen communication. Don't all rush up here at the same time. We have nobody So we have two public hearings.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll introduce the first one. It's consideration of a board order for a boundary change proposal, CL 17-003, annexation to Clackamas County Service District Number 1, and we have both Mr. Chris Storey and our boundary change consultant, Mr. Ken Martin, here to talk with you about this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. As always, you get to wear multiple hats. This is an annexation to CCSD number 1, which you are the governing body. But I'll remind you, in this context, you are not acting as the governing body of the district, but as the boundary commission for the county for all of its special districts. We received a petition to annex in a significant area, a bit larger than usual, into CCSD number 1, and Mr. Martin is here to give you the details.
So this is in the Carver area. CCSD number 1 serves all of the city of Happy Valley, and there's an agreement between the city and the district that parcels must annex into Happy Valley first before they annex into the district. That's why you have this rather odd-looking boundary, kind of a cherry stem coming down. You're going to see more proposals along that cherry stem and in this general area as the area slowly annexes to Happy Valley and then comes into the district, as it must do in order to get the sewer service. This particular proposal is to serve primarily the trailer park that's there, right there by the river, and the 2 restaurants that are in that area. I don't think I have anything else to add except just to warn you, you've got some more proposals. There's a very large one coming in a couple of months in this general area.
Okay, any questions? Well, we will open the public hearing and ask if anyone would like to speak on this matter. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the board order for boundary change proposal CL 17-003, annexation to Clackamas County Service District Number 1.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a board order for a boundary change proposal CL 17-003, annexation to Clackamas County Service District Number 1. I'd just like to add that I'm not normally in favor of cherry stemming, but in this circumstance, I think this would better serve the community by providing sewer services above the Clackamas River, you know, frankly, and those restaurants, hopefully, you know, their business is so busy that a septic system doesn't provide enough service to you know, enhance their opportunities to grow. So otherwise, any other discussion? With that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The next item.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is consideration of a board order for a boundary change proposal, CL 17-004, annexation to Clackamas River Water. And again, we have Mr. Ken Martin and Mr. Chris Storey to talk with you about this item.
Similar process, although this district you are not the governing body of, so it makes it a bit clear which hat you're wearing. You are received a petition to annex this area into the service district. The service district is desirous of providing service to this property. It's about 3 acres, 1 home, 1 person. They'd like to get water from Clackamas River Water. Their process requires that you approve it. And Mr. Martin, I can give you the details on the process they followed.
This is a property owner actually owns 2 lots. They have a house on 1 lot. They want to develop a house on the other lot that's acceptable under the zoning, and they just need the water down there. This is an area that's generally served by the district. The district has lines in the area. It is outside the UGB, so you won't see a lot more development other than the one house.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Just one. Excuse me, was there any objection from Clackamas River Water on this?
No, in fact, the statute requires that the district approve of the proposal before it comes into the board, and they have done so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll open the public hearing, ask if anyone would like to testify on this matter. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the board order for boundary change proposal CL 17-004, annexation to Clackamas River Water.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Well, that was quick. Now on to the consent agenda.
Okay, today's consent agenda. Under Health, Housing, and Human Services, approval of an agency service agreement with Northwest Housing Alternatives for home-based program operations and financial assistance. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with Foothills Community Church, Molalla Adult Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with the City of Gladstone, Gladstone Senior Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with Legal Aid Services of Oregon to provide housing rights and referral and legal assistance for Clackamas County residents. Approval of an agency service agreement with Northwest Housing Alternatives for temporary emergency housing, homelessness prevention, and rapid rehousing. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with Senior Citizen Council of Clackamas County to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with the City of Oregon City Pioneer Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement number 154752 with the State of Oregon Department of Human Services, Aging, and People with Disabilities Division for the provision of services to Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement number 154433 with the State of Oregon Department of Human Services, Aging, and People with Disabilities Division for provisions of for services to Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with Hoodland Senior Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Sandy for operations for the Mount Hood Express bus service. Approval of an intergovernmental subrecipient agreement with the City of Lake Oswego Adult Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of an agency subrecipient agreement with Friends of Estacada Community Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of amendment number 3 to an agency service contract with Clackamas Women's Services providing coordinated housing assessments. Approval of an agency subrecipient agreement with Canby Adult Center to provide social services for Clackamas County residents age 60 and over. Approval of amendment number 2 to an agency service contract with Northwest Housing Alternatives providing coordinated housing assessments. Approval of amendment number 3 to the intergovernmental agreement number 148508 with the State of Oregon, acting by and through its Oregon Health Authority for Choice Model Services, formerly Adult Mental Health Initiative. Approval of a declaration of deed restriction, fire separation distance document to be recorded on Clackamas County-owned properties for Clackamas Women's Services and the Housing and Community Development Division. Under the Department of Transportation and Development, approval of amendment number 2 to supplemental project agreement number 25214 with Oregon Department of Transportation for Salmon River Elk Park Road Bridge number 6574 project. Approval of a supplemental project agreement number 31172 with Oregon Department of Transportation for the South Ivy Street project in Canby. Our Juvenile Department, approval of amendment and renewal number 3 to the personal services contract with Toto Hutos to provide diversion panel services. Approval of amendment and renewal number 3 to the personal service contract with Parrot Creek Child and Family Services to provide diversion panel services. Approval of amendment number 3 and renewal number 2 to the personal service contract with Parrot Creek Child and Family Services to provide sex offender treatment to youth. And under County Counsel, we have a board order delegating decision-making authority to the hearings officer for matters arising under Section 6 of the Clackamas County Service District Number 1 Rules and Regulations. We also have a board order delegating decision-making authority to the hearings officer for matters arising under Chapter 2.01 of the County Code, which is foreclosed property. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement between 13 counties for sharing of costs associated with the MERS litigation. And that concludes today's consent agenda, but I did want to remind folks that we always have so many things on our consent agenda, and to get more information and read up on more of these items, they can visit our webpage at www.clackamas.us/BCC and read the full packet.
Okay, thank you. Do any commissioners wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 15 minutes. Now it's going to be up to you guys how long we're here. Don.
That's a challenge, I think. Well, I do have several items just to share with you. One is I received a nice note about one of our parks, and we received it from a Nicole M. I don't have her last name, but she wrote to say, we stayed at Metzler Park over the weekend, and I just wanted to say that the people who take care of that campground do a great job. The camp host was nice. The people who came to clean up the campground and empty the garbage were thorough, and garbage was picked up frequently enough that there was never garbage sitting around. We were all very impressed. I just wanted to let someone know what a great job they did and that we appreciated it. It was the most nicely maintained campground we've been to. So I wanted to thank Nicole for the note and get a little shout out to our parks staff for their excellent work.
I think that's a state park, though, isn't it? It's not?
No, it's not. It's a county park. Yes, yeah.
I was going to look it up while you were talking.
Yeah, and then we heard from the International City County Management Association, known as ICMA. They had announced last week that Clackamas County has been recognized for its data-driven management and reporting efforts. And what they're talking about is the work we're doing with Performance Clackamas. We've earned a Certificate of Achievement in Performance Management, which means that we collect and we verify certain data to ensure reliability and to ensure that we've trained staff in performance measurement and that we are reporting such data to the public. Clackamas County is one of some 57 jurisdictions to be recognized, and this is just one way that we are building public trust through good government, which is one of our 5 strategic priorities in our Performance Clackamas program. So then the last item I have is one of our Water Environment Services staff members, our Tri-City plant operator, Blake Rains, has been named Operator of the Year for the Lower Columbia section by the Pacific Northwest Clean Water Association, and the association represents clean water agencies in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. And in honoring Blake, the judges said that Blake exemplifies the mission of our industry to protect human health and the environment. So I just wanted to say, great job, Blake, and thanks for demonstrating one of our core values, excellent service. So that's it.
Thank you. First up, Sonia Fisher.
Oh, thank Thank you, Chair Bernard. A couple things I wanted to mention. I was out at Lesher Farm on Saturday for the Hazelia Agricultural Heritage Trail dedication. It was a wonderful event. It is something worth seeing. You can take a hike and learn the heritage markers of the area. It really brought to light, from the first people all the way through today, the different elements that help create vibrant community. It was very inspiring. We had George, oh, now I'm forgetting his name, from the Grand Ron. George, do you know his name?
I can't remember the last name.
John
I know
George?
John George.
John George, thank you. Drumming with his son and singing to open the ceremony was very inspirational, and it was just incredibly moving. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, to know that that was happening. And then my husband Kirk and I learned on it when I was going on a tour of the Leland CPO New Era area of a winery called Villa Catalana. And so I couldn't wait to get out there and experience it after learning about this winery from John Martinson, who runs our CPO. So Kirk and I went there to experience this, and I have been to many wineries in Oregon. I've been to a few in Napa Valley. I just want to say that this place is a gem of the community. It was described to me as one of the hubs of this rural community, and so I really wanted to experience it. It was amazing, and I just want to do a plug. I am not going to be in town on July 22nd, but they are having a Renaissance event that people can go online and get tickets for. They're going to have lots of performances. They have a wonderful buffet of food, and they also have rare plants throughout the winery, and they specialize in rare plants. So you get quite the education when you go to Villa Catalana.
So you should stop by my house. I can see the winery from my house.
Okay, well, it's a beautiful winery, isn't it? I have pictures of it posted on Commissioner Fisher page, and I encourage people to follow Commissioner Fisher so they can see the pictures of this incredible community asset that we have in Clackamas County. And then lastly, talking about beautiful, it's like I've had the week of beautiful places. I just have to share that. So Commissioner Sabbath and I went on the tour of Bull Run, and it's not open to the public, as we all know, but we got on a bus, and it seemed like we drove forever to get to Bull Run, but we finally got there. We went on a hike. We saw a spring that just comes up out of the ground. We went and we saw Bull Run Lake that has the view of the mountain, and we learned all about the area and how important it is, the past, the present, and the future. This is in Clackamas County, although it's run by the Portland Water Bureau. It is really important that we all understand and know the incredible value of clean water for our communities. And again, please, I haven't posted them yet, but I'm going to post these pictures, and I feel like they're, kind of secret pictures, because not everybody, unless they sign up for a tour of the Bull Run, gets to see Bull Run. So I will be posting those on my Commissioner Fisher page as well. So that is my beautiful communication for the commission on this Thursday.
So I move that we charge .0001 cents per gallon of water taken out of our lake in Clackamas County. Second. I had no idea it was in Clackamas County until I toured it.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And there's a little town there, too. That's been, anyway, I think you probably went in a house there.
Yep, there's a lot of heritage there also in the Bull Run, which is important to remember and recognize.
Yeah,
Bull Run Powerhouse.
no, but there's a bunch of houses up on the top right by the dam.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Paul, we were there. That were built in 1927.
It's not a town today,
No,
though.
it kind of looks like a town. It wasn't a town. Probably during construction. Commissioner Hubbardston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I spent most of my time in the rural areas this particular period of time. First and foremost, enjoyed a tour of Camp Hope, a program for disadvantaged children put on by Clackamas County and the Clackamas Women's Services programs. About a 2-week camp for kids that is very beneficial. It's one of the ironic situations that we live in this beautiful area, and unfortunately, so many kids don't ever get a chance to go up there onto the mountain and go camping. I remember young people who lived 3 miles from the ocean down south and never had been to the ocean. So this opportunity for kids, I think, is a wonderful idea. I also took a tour of some of our forestry areas with the Forest Service and discussed the possibilities for cross-laminated timber, a subject I'm sure you've heard about before.
Did you mention that?
Once or twice, and discuss with them what we like to call purpose-driven harvesting, which would be harvesting of our trees, but not just bulk harvesting and then trying to figure out what you're going to do with the wood, but rather harvesting on a basis of immediate need for our mills and to make the product. The Forest Service seemed to be interested in it, and hopefully they will sign on to our grant application for a pilot project. We kind of wait to see what that turns out to be, but that's what we're looking forward to. And last but not least, I had fun with my 66 Mustang. We went to a cruise-in at the Viewpoint Restaurant out there in Estacada, which, by the way, is very well named, because if you sit in that restaurant and look straight east, you got a great view of the mountain. And this is a cruise-in for classic cars put on by the American Legion to raise funds for our veterans. And I put up the conversation with the county commissioner sign, and had quite a few people stop by and just make comments about the county commission, most of which were positive. Some were questions about what we do and why we do it. But overall, it was very well received, and it was a great opportunity to talk to people who live in the rural areas and let them know that we are, in fact, paying attention to issues that are important to them.
And your black eyes really done a lot better.
And now, we will move on to the dog. And here we go. This is Sheba. She is a very sweet yet shy Australian cattle dog mix. She is looking for a new home with a family willing to give her a little TLC. She is social and likes attention once she gets to know you. Sheba gets along with other dogs and walks politely on leash. She has a lot to offer if you're willing to give her a chance. With a little love, time, and patience, she'll blossom into a wonderful companion. For more information about Sheba and other adoptable dogs, please contact Clackamas County Dog Services at 503-655-8628 or www.clackamas.us/dogs. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Sabbath.
Yeah, I just want to build a little bit on what Commissioner Fisher mentioned about our tour of the Bull Run yesterday. We were on the bus was the Sandy River Watershed Council group, really great group, and I've always amazed about our volunteers that are out there volunteering and doing a lot of hard work in watersheds. As I tell those folks, I think they're kind of like the unsung heroes as far as maintaining water quality and helping with a lot of that volunteer work. So it was a great group, had a lot of good time, and met a lot of good people. So it was a long day. Got a lot of steps in. How many steps you get in on your Fitbit?
Well, I went to the Lake Oswego concert at Foothills Park, so by the end of the day, I met my goal of 10,000 steps, even though we are on a bus for all day. So next tour, I encourage you to hit one of the concerts that are around Clackamas County.
I did like 8,800 steps, but I didn't do the second event. Yeah, I had a discussion, several discussions about the transportation bill and about what it means, and hopefully we'll have some kind of a summary, both from ODOT and from ourselves, what that means for us in the region, in Clackamas County and 205, and what that means to us as far as our maintenance, as far as what gap it fills, as far as our shortfall. But a lot of feedback about that so far, and I'm trying to answer all the questions I can. And it does not look like I-205 is funded for repair, but it is funded for the development of 30% design of what that looks like. And so I do know that, and hopefully, again, we'll have more details. As far as our funding gap of our $17 million, we've said a lot year after year. We had about a $17 million shortfall in maintenance that this bill ultimately here in a few years it'll fill that gap, $13 million of that 17 gap. So we'll have a $4 million projected. And I think we need to revisit all those numbers and see if there's the price of asphalt's come down and what the economics really are, is it really still a $17 million shortfall? But I'm excited about that part, that it will take care of our maintenance, so we'll be able to do a lot more maintenance for years to come. And that's my contribution for today.
Commissioner Schrader.
Well, I have been busy being a grandma, visiting probably virtually every water park in Clackamas County at this point. As many of you know, I have two little guys that live in England most of the time, and they are spending a month with me this summer. So we spent time in the Lake Oswego fountain, where our kids can run in and out. And then we spent a good afternoon at the West Lynn Park, which also has a wonderful water park and view of the lake, and they just absolutely had a ball, and I'm really enjoying them. I have forgotten how much patience it takes, because it takes you a lot longer to get ready in the morning when you've got little 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds who kind of have a a time frame that's much more broad than even mine. I thought I was the one with the broad time frame, but
That is amazing.
wait till you have 4 and 2-year-olds and watch them kind of just live in the universe. So that's really been taking a lot of my time. One of the things that I did want to mention today, because we have had conversations about housing as a commission, and I know that every single one of us is interested in that. Hopefully we'll be moving forward with a larger conversation about that. But when Mary read the consent agenda today, that there were at least 3, if not 4, issues dealing with temporary emergency housing, homelessness prevention, and rapid rehousing. The home-based program, which offers financial assistance for families that are being at risk for homelessness. And then a Northwest Housing Alternatives contract, which is going to provide coordinated housing assessments. And the bottom line is, even though we may feel that we are behind the curve in some ways, and I think we are, I do want to make it clear, I do think our staff and I think our values were working diligently to make sure people either don't become homeless, that they have decent housing to go to, and that there are nonprofits out there that we are closely working with to build capacity. Also, I wanted to mention a news article. Commissioner Hubbardston and I, as you know, went to the Chinese Forum last week, and there is now an article about the Consulate General from the People's Republic of China in San Francisco, and it talks about their U.S. Infrastructure Cooperation Forum. So we are looking at the possibility of investments for our infrastructure, and certainly transportation could be part of that. And so we'd really like to kind of keep an eye on that and see how that moves forward and how that works. Because if we don't get funding from the state, we may have to start looking at public-private kinds of partnerships and keep an open mind. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that. We've been looking at that. And today, actually, I'm having a meeting with folks from PGE. We've been talking and working about and working to try and see about natural gas access in Estacada. I served on the committee that from the Public Utility Council, the board, that actually looked at that issue with actually it was not Commissioner Kenner, it was a Representative Kennemer, and I served on that, and there is a pretty detailed report, and we are beginning to meet with PGE officials at this point, and actually Northwest Natural Gas officials to see, kind of take a look at that and see what the possibilities are, because they have industrial land out there, and we'd like to see that get get developed to increase their economy. With that, let's go to arts and culture activities in the county. Westland Old Time Fair, the 3-day event in beautiful Willamette Park at the confluence of the Tualatin and Willamette Rivers, includes old-time baseball game, parade, car show, musical performers, hands-on timber experience, exhibitors, and much more. Friday, July 14th, Saturday, July 15th, and Sunday, July 16th at Willamette Park in Westland, and that is where that great water park is. So Bring your kids, bring their bathing suits. Three Rivers Artists Guild Artist Reception. Meet your local artists exhibiting at Three Rivers Galleries and Gifts. Saturday, July 16th, 1 to 3 at Three Rivers Gallery and Gifts inside Singer Hill Cafe in Oregon City. And for more information, go to clackamasartsalliance.org. Okay?
Great. And so I think about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, the Clackamas Service Center caught fire, which is providing food and services to folks in North Clackamas County off of 82nd Avenue, close to Fuller. I don't remember the street. Anyway, we did offer, see if there's anything we can do to help. And I listened to the director on NPR the other day. They're bringing in some temporary facilities to help, and hopefully it's a very important agency. It's the only one in Clackamas County like it. So hopefully they get up and going. On the transportation bill and the impact on Clackamas County, we have a new pavement management program that I talked to Barb Cartmill, our director of transportation development, and she is going to be working up that stuff and getting back to us pretty soon. And then July 22nd, why do I have that on here? Oh, I think it's, you mentioned that fair. And then 500 houses are going into Estacada. I mean, once that community starts to grow and they're affordable housing, affordable to a lot of people. They're $250,000 is what I think he said, which is a lot less than you pay for a home around here. Anyway, the more development they get, the more opportunity there might be to get natural gas out there. We talked to the mayor about that, and we're very interested. Also, Mary, we have a grant program which we funded in our last budget, and you can click on that link that is up, and I'm not going to read it because it's pretty massive. And I believe the applications will be available. We have $250,000. Our goal, of course, is to focus our monies on areas where they need it most, and to reach those people who are lower income and could use some help, and the organizations that provide services to those people. Finally, I wanted to mention that congratulate Ann Leininger, a former Clackamas County Commissioner, for her appointment as a judge for Clackamas County. Well, it's good to have somebody who understands the workings of a county on the bench. And I wanted to mention that the Democratic Party of Clackamas County, that's the first step, is people will apply to them. They'll interview. And remember Martha? And then they will select a number of people to forward to us. And it's not dissimilar to what we did last time we did this with Ann, actually. You were there. Sonia, you were there. So I think it's almost a 50-50 match unless something's changed in that border. I don't remember the weight that we had. Huh? 60-40. Yeah, 60-40. So Clackamas County can really decide this. But it's a great opportunity to work with Multnomah County and pick a person that represents us all well. So that'll be taking place over the next, I don't know how much time. Obviously the legislature not in session, so it's probably not a great big rush, but I already did read some message from the Democratic Party of Clackamas County that they were starting the process. So look forward to that.
Mr. Chair, I understand we will need to do it within 30 days of when Ms. Leininger is sworn in as a judge.
And do we know when that is?
I don't know when that is.
Yeah. Maybe the 17th. The what? Monday. Next Monday? Whew. So the Democratic Party's going to have to step up pretty quick here.
We're talking about like this coming Monday.
Yeah.
30 days after that.
Oh, 30 days after that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, I will be at my daughter's wedding when this may happen. So I may have to call in again, but can't miss a wedding.
Oh, sure you
Here we go.
can.
No. Not your daughter's wedding.
No.
Not your daughter's wedding.
I suspect it may not be very highly contested, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've called a couple of people,
I just figure people who want to step forward will step forward.
so it's none of you.
Nope.
Well, with that, we'll adjourn and see you next week. Thank you.
Nope, I'm not doing that.